Hello everyone, and I welcome you all for one more Seed Talk 2023. And today we have a very important topic to discuss, and that is mental health action plan, promoting care and treatment. And yes, this is a panel discussion, a Seed Talk being arranged by ITYN, Igniting
Yani
Brain
diyorsun yarın.
Foundation. It has been working in 195 countries of the world, and its main motto is to educate the children about and satellite technology. Till now, it has provided trainings to more than 1.5 lakh students around the world, and the number is increasing every day. Today, we have with us our esteemed panelists who have joined us, and let's start with our mentor, firstly, our mentor, our chairperson, Dr. P.K. Rajput sir, has joined with us. So I request Rajput sir to please start today's session.
Thank you so much, Anju ma'am. Once again, salam alaikum to you. Good morning and good afternoon, especially to Dr. Rania. Very happy to see you and all the eminent personalities which you have joined from the different part of the world. And once again, salam alaikum to Nahid Bhai, Dr. Jamie, good evening to you. Dr. Revati, good evening to you. Dr. Sarita ma'am, good evening. Vanessa ma'am, and all everybody, right? So my heartfelt greetings to all of you. Today we are talking on one a very important topic. I was just reading this topic, which is the mental health. Everywhere, every people is talking about it. Mental health action plan, promoting care and treatment. So I'm very happy to speak on this thing. I will not take much of time because I'm at the Hyderabad airport and I'm coming to the Bangalore now. So there's certain thing which I personally feel, and I like to put it here on this wonderful forum, where I'm sure the speakers and all, they are going to have a very nice panel discussion, because it is a mental health is a comprehensive plan developed by WHO. It is not me or not anybody else, which is going to promote the and improve the mental health across. So institution, the entire thing. It is also focusing on promoting the well-being of each and every person in the society and reducing the stigma associated with the mental illness. So this is overview of the mental health plan. Objectives which we are aware about it because we all keep on dealing with the people. The mental health plans, it aims to achieve the objective which is very important, which provides access for all comprehensive and integrated mental health solution, care, social care, etc. Implementing the strategies for promotion of the mental health is strengthening the governance of the mental health. So I'm sure our such a wonderful esteemed panelists, they are going to speak on this wonderful topic about. I'm so sorry, the lot of noise is there. Sorry, the lot of noise of the airport is there. So just take me right. So I'm sure that all the wonderful panelists, all the wonderful esteemed speaker, they're going to give their knowledge on the mental health, which is becoming a very big issue. But I am very happy that today people are not talking as a stigma. They are coming out. They're telling that yes, they are suffering with some of the depression. They're suffering with some of this thing, right? So they want a care, and it is not. It is starting from the child, because today I was attending one of the meeting of the of the educators. They also said about it that in 1 week of time or 10 days of time or 15 days of time, there are AI solutions are getting developed. Today I saw that after reading the face of the student, they can find it out that person is suffering with the depression. So when it is happening with the child, you can make it out what is going to happen with the other people. So that is all from my side. Thank you so much once again. And once again, very happy, Dr. Anju ma'am, for inviting me. I'm very happy from IDYM. And again, all awesome people are there. Dr. Jamie is awesome. Dr. Rania, of course, you always add lot of strength. Vanessa ma'am is there. Hi, Vanessa ma'am. You are drinking something like, so I can see. I'm also feeling that I should also have something now. Right. And I can see Dr. Revati ma'am is there. Sarita ma'am is there. Laila ma'am, photographs is coming so well. Kamal sir is there, Rajat Mishra sir. So I can see in my thing. So over to you, Anju ma'am. And this time you have put the name of your husband, I think. Nusar Saab ka rakha hai.
She's my daughter's. It's my daughter's
Oh, I'm so
name.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Daughter name, huh? 12.
Yeah.
She is studying in 12th standard, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Correct, correct. Thank you. Thank you so much. And please carry on. Probably I may be dropping now because I have to come to now another wonderful city at Bangalore to meet such a great people across. Thank you, Anju ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rajput sir, for starting this event with such inspiring words. And yes, of course, because today we have the topic, and it is going to be really a very interesting talk. Because now, the time that we are going through, we need to discuss about this, we need to talk about this. And it is, I think, the effect of the awareness that is being going on, that the people have started speaking about it. Otherwise, it was just considered a stigma. The people did like speaking about it. So let's carry forward with discussion. And now I would like to invite Rania Lampo, ma'am, a STEM educator from Greece.
Love to listen Dr. Rania's talk because then only I'll be leaving. I have 5 minutes. So I love to listen her talk. Yeah.
Afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Rajput. It's always a great pleasure to see you. Thank you, Dr. Anjum, and many congratulations to IDYM. Today I have decided to talk about anxiety, stress, because me too, I'm suffering from this many years now, and this has caused me stomach problems, and in general, it's difficult for me to handle it. Many people say that the easy ways to manage anxiety disorders include learning about anxiety. We talk about relaxation techniques or mindfulness or correct breathing techniques, dietary adjustments. We talk about exercise also. Structured problem solving, and also cognitive behavioral therapy is the most effective form of psychotherapy for anxiety disorders, because this focuses on teaching our specific skills to improve our symptoms and gradually return to the activities that we avoided because of anxiety. However, I want to focus on something else. It's important to correct what we call our anxiety lens. It's what I have learned through my own experience, because anxiety is like a distorting lens through which we view our world. Our anxiety lens filters out rays of hopes, blocks our view of possible good outcomes, blurs anything positive, brings the negative into focus, and magnifies any kind of threat in our life. Usually we identify what we call misappraisal is, I think, is one of the problems that contributes to our anxiety. Misappraisal is the inaccurate or distorted assessment of a danger or a threat. When we constantly overestimate the level of threat we are facing, we set ourselves for chronic anxiety. All misappraisals of threat arise, I think, from three negative thinking patterns or habits of perception that distort reality. These three negative patterns are what we call negative predictions, negative focus, and problem magnification. If we define which of these negative thinking patterns we use more often, then we can practice exercises that will help us correct anxiety lens and more accurately assess threats and reduce this way our anxiety. So the first step in correcting this anxiety lens is to practice identifying these three negative thinking patterns. For instance, as an exercise, we can first analyze typical anxiety thoughts and categorize them. And in a second exercise, we can do the same using our anxiety thoughts from a thought, what we call a thought log, that we can keep for a week. Our mind does its best, of course, to prepare us for possible danger, to assess our ability to cope and keep us safe. It's part of the human survival instinct. However, sometimes the anxiety, our mind creates is more of a problem than the threat that it seeks to avoid. So I think the exercises are important that will allow us, specific exercises could allow us to take a step back from our thoughts, to notice how our mind's natural survival instinct can go too far, and to see how Our anxiety thoughts go beyond protecting us, instead make us feel scared and unable to cope. So recognizing negative thinking patterns, when we talk about negative predictions, for instance, we say, I'm going to lose my job. This is a negative prediction. Or we say, nobody ever gives me attention. This is a negative focus. When we say, the stress is killing me, this is what we call problem magnification. And as I said before, it's important to keep a thought log. Whenever we are anxious, we can jot down a few words to sum up what we're thinking. Then note whether this thought is primarily negative prediction, negative focus, problem magnification. And after a week, we can look back at our log and notice which type of negative thinking pattern most often creates our anxiety. So we can take some time to consider how our habits of thought have contributed to this anxiety over the course of our life. And if we talk about negative prediction exercises, this has to do with what we call cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility means that we're able to come up with several explanations or interpretations for any event or situation. And this also is related to what we call validity quotient. So by calculating the validity quotient, by keeping a predictions log, by exploring the purpose of our predictions, this can actually help us. Because if we talk about calculating the validity quotient, this exercise will give us a concrete number to score how accurately our negative predictions forecast the future. It targets a single negative prediction going back 5 years in our life to count how many times this prediction has come true. So, for instance, we can pick a negative prediction that we find ourselves making. It can be something that we worry about happening to our, for instance, to our kids or to our health or to our job or to any situation. We can sum up with a negative prediction a few words and write it there. And in the last 5 years, we can pose the question, how many times have we made this prediction? And to keep track of these negative thoughts as they occur, jotting them down. We said before the predictions log. This concerns negative predictions. I talked about negative focus exercises because our anxiety lens focuses our awareness on the negative aspects of any situation, exaggerating dangers, ramping up our feelings of fear, and this causes also cases of stress. Another important issue when we talk about anxiety is the big picture awareness. Viewing our life constantly through the lens of anxiety can be like watching a horror film. When everything is huge, everything is scary, it's confusing, it's claustrophobic. So you never see a shot in which we can relax, in which we can clearly identify everything that is going on, understand everything from a comfortable distance. So when we focus consistently on the negative, it's like listening to music and hearing only the dissonant notes. Whether we're thinking about our job or relationship or health where we live in, we focus on the negative details that turn everything dark. So the way to modify this cognitive habit is to regularly step back and look at the big picture. After we have said or thought something negative about the situation, we can find at the same time at least two things that are positive about. This, I think, should be a rule in our lives, that for each positive appraisal we make of a situation, experience, or person, we should come up with two positive aspects. And pleasant emotions, of course, are important here. Relaxation, peace, rest, the feelings of accomplishment, of completion, of satisfaction, the opportunity to learn new things, the closeness, the connection, the feeling of being loved or appreciated. All these things are very, very important when we talk about anxiety, because this way we can find always a positive aspect to every situation. And remember that nearly all experiences are a blend of the pleasant and the unpleasant, the positive and the negative. So widening our focus to include the big picture will make our habitual thinking patterns more flexible and less likely to lead straight to anxiety. That means that we need to see both sides of the coin because most painful experience have a flip side, some beneficial, lesson learned, insight gained, friendship deepened, or an ability improved. This tendency for a bad experience to include an opposite good experience is, I think, the basis for phrases like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or every cloud has a silver lining. So our anxiety lens prevents us from easily seeing the other side of the coin, but the other side of the coin, it's there. When we talk about the big picture awareness exercise, as I said before, and now about this, the positive aspects of painful situations tend to be in certain categories that could be getting in touch with you, learning or achieving great acceptance, or letting go of attachments to certain outcomes, appreciate others in many, many other cases. I talked before also about the problem magnification exercises. When our anxiety lens magnifies problems, they become too huge to overcome because they dominate our mental landscape and they prevent us from moving forward in our life. We need to focus on this. We need to be able to understand when we magnify a problem and view our problem as something closer to the actual size. And this has to do with what we call problem continuum, because one way to judge a size is by comparison to nearby objects. So this exercise places our current problems on a continuum or scale of problems that range from huge or tiny. For instance, we can write a list of problems, pick the largest, the worst one, and then focus on this and try how to handle it. So by concluding, I want to say that, of course, each of us has a uniquely personal life story. Our lives, I think, unfold in a series of circumstances and events that may be similar, but nothing is similar. Everyone is distinct from other people's problem. Of course, we go through our life as free agent with our own personal needs and desires and hopes and goals and dreams. But sometimes, of course, we are captains of our ship, in control of our life. But there are many other times that we are not. We are captains, but eventually hit obstacles. So in this case, I think we need to take seriously any mental health issues, many health disorders that we face occasionally, because if we don't diagnose immediately this problem, then it will become worse. I'm saying this from my own experience. I'm suffering many, many years from chronic anxiety stress, and this has caused me somatic problems and body problems. So thank you very much for your attention. And
Yes, thank you very much, for your wonderful words. And yes, of course, that was a really great talk again. As even in the last session, Rajput sir said that you're like just you just the fulcrum of the topic. You always come with great talks, always come with great presentation. It doesn't matter what topic it is, right? So even today, it was a very great start of today's panel discussion. So now let's move on to our next speaker from India, Dr. Revati Ma'am, Assistant Professor from Sihangar Institute of Business and Management, Pune. Welcome, Revati Ma'am.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Anjum Qureshi ma'am, Dr. P.K. Rajput sir, IDYM engineer Ravi Shankar Kumar sir, for this golden opportunity. Yes, it's a great honor for me to express my views on the mental health action plan, promoting care and treatment. So here, being well off is a desirable outcome, and that matters to people and numerous aspects of the society, since it indicates that people believe their lives are going well. Food, shelter, employment are all essential for a healthy lifestyle. But promoting mental health services and treatment is essential for enhancing general well-being and lowering the stigma attached to the mental health problems. So here, mental health is about how you feel. I am again repeating this sentence is very important. Mental health is about how you feel, how you think, and how you see the world around you. And without good mental health, it is difficult to do the things you need to do each every day to have a full and happy life. And this topic is really very interesting for all of us because our psychological, emotional, and social well being all fall under the category of the mental health, and it influences our thoughts, our emotions, and our behaviors. And additionally, it influences how we respond to our stress, interactions with others, and make the decisions. So every period of life from the childhood and adolescence to maturity is vital for the mental health. And there are many issues facing our world, but the worldwide mental health pandemic is one of the most serious problems. People of all ages, genders, and origins are impacted by the mental health difficulties, and which have an effect on not only individuals but also families and the communities. Yes, it is crucial that we work together to solve this problem and develop an all inclusive mental health action plan and that supports care and the treatment for everyone. So here mental health is a condition of well-being in which people can manage everyday challenges, work efficiently, and give feedback and give the back to their communities also. So it is not only the absence of illness. So let's acknowledge the significant influence that mental health has on all aspects of our life as we assemble here today, from our interpersonal interactions to our professional performance and beyond that. So first of all, the awareness and education are the first step in our action strategy because people frequently hesitate to seek treatment because of stigma and the misunderstandings about our mental health. And we can remove these obstacles and promote a culture where candid conversation about mental health is welcome and supported by launching public awareness campaign, holding the workshops and holding the seminars on this topic. So mental health is universal. It cuts across all the geography, cultural and the social divides, and it has a significant impact on how we feel, think and interact with others. So it is essential to our general well-being, but millions of individual lives are impacted every day by broad and widespread mental health issues. And this urgent worldwide issue must be addressed collectively, and an in-depth strategy for the mental health should be the first step. So such a strategy needs to be based on a foundation of knowledge and instruction. So we may promote some awareness, empathy, and unity through public awareness campaign and educational initiatives. So by promoting free discussion, we may create a setting where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts. In the research, I found that Mr. Shah in 1982, he also stated that, because I also write one paper on the mental health. So he stated that mental health is the most essential and inseparable component of the health. And it is the status that refers to the degree of mental health that a person possesses. And in order to measure the mental health status of a person, there are 15 points that I studied. The first one is that is the adaptability. Because Adaptability, it is the flexibility in meeting changes, circumstances, or demands. And it can be measured by testing whether the individual could get adjusted to various situations, because we are not able to adjust in any circumstance or any difficult situations. So adaptability is one of the strategy that we can use for the mental health. Then 5 senses of security. Security is very important. So it is the feeling of having maintenance of condition necessary to need the gratification. So it indicates how far the individual has the feeling of sense of security. Next is the regularity of habits. Next is emotional maturity, because it is a degree to which an individual manifests behavior appropriate to his age and the intelligence level. In my college, there are many students and they hesitate that they are feeling stress. So they are not able to mingle with the others. So such type of problems are also there. Means the social conformity. So this is also measured by assessing how far the individual is able to conform or adjust to the norms and the customs of the society. The next is the freedom from sophisticated tendencies. Yes, of course. Sociopathic tendencies, that is called, are characterized by the lack of social responsibility and inability to conform the prevailing social norms. So even when such norms are adopted, positive attitude is also important. We always focusing on the positive attitudes towards the self. Be positive, be positive. So it is the attitude of having a good outlook for everything, not only in other people, but also everything he does. So early warning signs are also there for mental health. So experiencing one or more of the some feelings or behaviors can be an early warning sign of a mental healthy problem. For example, eating or sleeping too much or too little. That is also the warning sign. Then having low or no energy, feeling numb or nothing matters, feeling helpless or hopeless. Then there are many people, they are smoking, drinking, or using drugs more than usual, feeling unusually confused, forgetful, angry, upset, worried. So all these are the signs, early warning signs that experiencing one or more of these feelings or behavior. So a mental health problem also affects how a person thinks. That's why I'm telling to you how a person thinks, feels, and behaves, but to a lesser extent than a mental illness. There are different strategies were adopted, and they were designed to be cost effective, promoting community participation and the utilizing the existing skills within the group. So we can also run some activities or role plays. There are some poster campaigns in our college. We can also uh, uh, manage some programs. A poster campaign means distribution of posters on mental health issues in the community and putting them up in the schools. Then street plays are also there. So street plays were held regularly in the community, socially relevant. Themes are also there. So this such type of themes were selected to convey the message on misconceptions, beliefs, and fears on mental illness and on their management also. Then wall writing. So these are the strategies we are using for the mental health. So the team along with the affected person or families, so sketched messages in Marathi on mental health issues on the walls of public utility buildings in the village also. The team painted sketches and messages on symptoms, possible causes, the treatment also. So in the means the role community is also addressing the issues was highlighted. Means in conclusion, ma'am, anybody please. Okay, so in conclusion, our mental health action plan is more than just a written document. It is a representation of compassion and hope. So let's leave this international gathering with a reaffirmed dedication to advancing the mental health, recognizing that our combined effort can pave the road for the better future. So together we can make sure that mental health is no longer overlooked, but instead proudly recognized as a crucial element of human dignity and the world peace. So together we can create a world where mental health is nurtured, supported, and celebrated. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
very much, ma'am. That was really a great talk. And of course, yes, we need to support each other. And as you were talking about the different kind of awareness, even that you have been taking in your colleges, it is very necessary, especially for the youth when we are talking about. It is really essential because if we look around, most of the patients, so those who are working from some suffering from some kind of mental disorders or mental illness, you can find a large proportion of those people, they are youth of the country, or even worldwide. You can say, yes, of course, youth is suffering from this, and we need to talk about it. We need to raise more and more awareness about it and collaborate together. And in fact, the platforms like IDYM that we are discussing, and I know the discussions that we do, we really learn from each other to help the people around us. So that was really a great talk. Thank you for joining with us, and thank you for this wonderful talk. And I can see all the participants just clapping for you after listening to you. That's really, really very great. So now let's
Thank
move on
you.
to. Thank you, ma'am. And let's move on to our next educator. She's actually a principal from Adilabad, Dr. Jenny Sudhakar, ma'am.
That's nice, Dr. Anju. Thank you very much. Thanking IDYM as usual. I take great pleasure in presenting the topic mental well-being. I'm not going to give any treatment, but as usual, I'm going to make everybody think for a while. Because David Perkinson's model of Project Zero says very well, the wild thinking, the wonderment thinking, the deep thinking, which is going to create strong-minded people in this world. What are we going to do as educators?
Yeah.
Somebody is speaking. Can the host mute them? Can the host mute them,
Yes.
please?
Nahid sir, you're the host. Can you just mute the person? Nahid sir, are you able to hear me?
It's muted now, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Fine. Good evening, educators. Thanking everybody for this golden opportunity. I would like to make everybody think for a minute. Why is this mental well-being topic today is discussed? Shall we go back and look back 1,000 years before? Did our forefathers have or had anything that's called as psychology in school? Send treatment in school? Was there any mental disabled child those days? The brooding, the blooming, the mammoth growing mental hospitals in schools has to be banned. That's the first thought which I'm going to make everybody get ignited within your mind. As an educator, every one of us are here to think about mental well-being. What is mental well-being? It doesn't have one set meaning. We might use it to talk about how we feel, how well we are coping up with daily life, or what we feel possible at this moment. But good mental well-being doesn't mean you're always happy or unaffected by experiences. But poor mental well-being can make it more difficult to cope with daily life. Hope everybody agree with us. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So today is the day for every educator to make a step to ensure that all of us are going to think a little while to say that I have to make room to be well. Sounds dark, but give yourself some space. In my case, I use mindfulness to help me gain control. Can we all say that? As educators, a man or a child is a component of 5 Bs: physical, cognitive, social, emotional, linguistic. The cognition part of the child, which needs to be groomed well or controlled well or sophisticatedly catered well, will create the best child in future. What does his mind do? Why mental wellness? A mind is a meditating agent. A mind is a moving agent. Your mind is a marvelous agent. Your mind is a blowing agent. A mind is an agent which is miraculously created by the Almighty. Where is the mental health? Where is the mental well-being? If you and I are not able to be calm, quiet at times of situations when there is a turbulent storm, where is the mental healing when we are unable to control our emotions? Where is the mental meditation or calmness of the mind if we are not able to think quietly?
Zoom meeting.
We must think quiet. You and I are born to think quiet. Have you ever thought quiet? Let us ask the question. Were there mental hospitals or were there child psychology schools send assessments and reports before 1,000 years or before 100 years? Nowhere. The life that we have created for us have created a complication within every child's life. As educator, what is your contribution and my contribution today? For example, take an educator's life. Is there relaxed and reduced stress in an educator's life? Is there ways to learn to be creative? Is there time that she or he spends with nature? Is she connected with others? Is she really taking care of her physical health so that a sound body is a sound mind? Is she or he gets enough sleep? No way. These are the simple steps which need to be taken care of our well-being. We must have relaxed and reduced stress. How to live a relaxed life in this busy world? Are we planning and preparing every day? Are we designing our thinking? Are we designing our lifestyle? We want to live like others. Nobody wants to be you. Nobody wants to be me. I don't want to be myself. I want to be somebody else. When I want to be somebody else, my mind elasticity is lost. When I want to be someone else, my mind is lost. When I want to be someone else, my thinking is lost. I start imitating. I start following. I never have time for myself to sit and introspect or to understand or to identify or to ignite myself so that I will become a glowing and blooming, blazing sun in this world. Am I here to sit and think for a while? Who am I? Have I ever asked this question? Have we done a SWOT analysis in our life as educators? Where is the treatment? The treatment is in your hand, in my hand. Every day morning, as soon as we wake up, how many of us stand in front of the mirror and say, today is going to be the best day? How many of us have thanked God for the new day He has given us breath? How many of us have realized our presence on this earth? As soon as we wake up, so many thoughts come to our mind. So many worries, embraces. Are we here to live and lead a calm and reduced, relaxed life? Today, as educators, let us try to change this world. Let every educator make a thought process today in your mind to create a relaxed, self-free world. Reduce stress life. Less is more. Remember that always. When you want to do more and more and more, you'll become nothing. If you do little, but do it properly, less is more. So as educators, decide today. If you are less, no problem. Fill your vessel. When you empty yourself, you can fill it. Don't try to outpour, for you overflow. And all your blessings would just go waste. So decide today. Let me be calm. Let me adorn myself with calmness. Let me adorn myself with meditation. Next is finding ways and learning to be creative. We want to be somebody else. We want to be that kind of person. We want to be those person. But are we ready to change? Are we ready to change to adapt the standards of path life which he has Yesterday was Dr. Abdul Kalam's birthday. Memorial Day. How many of us have ever thought I should have only 2 blazers or 3 blazers? He donated all his dress to this world, but we want at least 5 sets every day, 1 blazer. We want at least 100 suits. He has left a footprint, a legacy footprint. Are we ready to adapt? Are we ready to assimilate? Are we ready to acknowledge? Are we ready to understand and own it as us? Try not to be others. Try to be yourself, but learn to be creative. What kind of creativity can rule this world? As we are aware, 21st century skill. Without this creativity, you cannot survive. When you are trying to emerge as a creative person, you think. That's why I started my statement with David Perkinson's model. Zero, Project Zero. I can say proudly, I'm a brand ambassador of David Perkinson. I work very close with him. And that's the reason I started implementing while thinking in my class. Wonderment in my class. Have you ever thought that Eureka Path has to just burn in the child's mind? Ever? Have you allowed the child to develop his or her creativity? When we don't allow children to collaborate and be creative, they get stressed. The stress level is enhanced. And the enhanced stress level is, we call it as hyperactive. There's no child hyperactive in this world. I hate teachers who call children as hyperactive. I'm telling you today. I banned that word in my school. Child is a prodigy. He can think beyond you and me. He can work beyond you and me. His energy level is so high. He's sophisticated. He cannot be suppressed. And you and I need to get it to the child. How? Only when you learn to be creative. So I request all the educators to learn to find ways to be creative. Next, spending time with nature. We know what is happening to the nature, deteriorating nature. I read an article just 3 days before, the book which I was reading, As a Man Thinketh by Alan. You all know it, that's the most selling book in States. I started reading it. When I finished it, I came across a quote which came as an advertisement. There's a dispensing the earth which is going to drown another within 75 years. There's no part of the earth left. The earth is going to be suspended or suspended completely. Who is the root cause? Who is the reason? You and me. We are not creating sufficient awareness. We are not ready to change. We are not ready to transform this world. Have we ever gone and sat with nature? Have we ever gone and been with nature, one with the nature? No. How do we get healed when you're alone? When you unite yourself with green, when you try to set yourself, when you try to set your standard as the best human being, one with the nature, rather than taking the gun and going in a jeep and making a history by shooting a deer. No, by hunting hunting with guns does not allow us to get settled in life. So try to be one with the nature. That's the best thing, best gift that you can give to children. This world needs to be healed. You and I must cultivate plants, must grow plants, not only green plants. Cultivate good habits within children, greenery within children's mind, peace within mind, calmness within mind, always with gadgets. Every child is with mobile phone. How many of us are ready to unlearn, relearn, make children do this, adopt this? Do away with the modern technologies for a little while in a day. Let us get along with nature. Of course, AI is needed. ChatGPT is needed. Everything is required, but at the end of the day, it is the calmness of the mind, the mental healthness, the mind sport that you create for the child. Let me give an example. I always tell my children and parents and teachers, my dear teachers, please listen. Mind is like a field. Every child's brain is like a field. How? You can ask me how. Let me tell you. When you want to go to the other part of the field from one place to the other, you start walking slowly. Okay. When man treads upon the grass is killed. When man foot or hand touches the greenery, it is dead. It can never grow. So as you walk, there is a pathway created already. And when you come back, the same pathway gets strengthened. So one pathway is created. You start going to the other part and start coming crisscross manner, straight manner, multiple ways. You make ways like this, the field is totally lost. Like that, the child mind is a field. When you start harassing the child, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Finish. The child cannot think. The child is lost. The child cannot be original. When you allow the child to evolve, emerge, be in an enchanted environment, experience with an engaged environment, the child is empowered, enchanted. This is the gift that you and I are going to give to every children. Thus, allow children to spend time with nature. Next is staying connected with others. Let me take you back to my grandma's home. I still remember my beautiful home. Today, even I was talking with my sister about it. We are 120 members at family. We were so connected. Every time we come back from school, we'll have a big plate where we'll get big ball of rice, each one in the hand. We used to sit like this, moonlight food. Can you find one house eating together on the dining table? At least talking, if not moonlight food. Everybody is with a gadget. Father will be with a mobile, mother with one mobile, serving in one hand. She doesn't know whether she's dropping in the plate or dropping on the table. And the children also on mobile. The baby, newborn baby, is given a mobile. She's watching a rhyme. The baby doesn't know what is a rhyme. The mother is feeding parrots or Cerelac something. The child is watching one beautiful rhyme. Who told you to play nursery rhyme, which the child is going to sing forever, at least for 2 years in school? You as a mother supposed to embrace the child. Feed the child with love. Grandma's story, mother's story, the interesting elements. Are we missing it? Are we losing it? Where are we heading towards? We have lost our golden values and virtues. We are seeking for something new in the air, leaving the earth. We are supposed to walk on the earth. We are walking in the moon. Of course, moonwalk is necessary, but where is the ground? Unless you stand firm on the first step, you cannot climb on the climb and go to the terrace. It is we who have to realize today. Every one of us are going to make our foot stabilized on the ground. Put our foot firm on the ground. Stand firm. Walk slowly upwards towards the destiny. Slowly. As educators, it's you who have to create that ground foundation for the children. Where are the foundational values which has kept our family collaborated together? Are we in harmony with to talk with our people? The moment we enter, there is a Wi-Fi connection. If there's no Wi-Fi, I have to send report. Why don't you finish your report at home and enter your home? Why don't you sit and have a table chat? Why don't you have a coffee chat with your peers, with your loved ones, with your children? When you stay connected, when you stay collaborative, 21st century skills in place. The child learns to be collaborated. When you stay connected, the child is given freedom to share his her thoughts with you. When you allow them to express themselves, their mind is free. Why do we get stressed? Everything is dumb. Morning first period, math teacher comes. Second period, English teacher comes. Third period, science teacher comes. Fourth period, PT teacher comes, but she never does anything. She says it's rain and she sits on the computer, sits in the corner. Art teacher comes. She also wants to draw something on her own. Are we ever allowing children to experience the real stress-free environment in school? Let's make a decision today. At home, at school. As educators, we are going to create a stress-free environment. This is the oath that every one of us need to create or make to heal this world. Heal this world and make it a better place for everyone to live. How is it possible? Looking after the physical health next. Are we really eating our breakfast daily? Before going to school? Before going to office? Before traveling? No, I want to be on diet. I will not eat my breakfast. I will go to school and have an oats. Our forefathers never said it. We were not allowed to step out of the house unless we eat at least one roti. I still remember. But how many of us feed our children? Mama, I don't want. Yes, don't want. Enough. This is what we tell the children. It's not always to start with caring for well-being. You might find it helpful only when you try and what feels comfortable to you and to others. Give yourself time to figure out what works for you, what is going to be on your own. at your own pace. Take small steps. Pick one or two things to achieve today and try to get enough sleep every day night. Never avoid sleep. A sound body is a sound mind. Our brain thinks. Our brain is bountiful, beautiful, marvelous. Of course, it needs some rest. There are 9 motors running in our body. The biggest motor is brain. When you allow the brain to calm, compose, be quiet, silent, restful, you are the master of your own destiny. Remember today, harnessing future is not simple. Harnessing life is not simple, but it is essential. It is mandatory. It is very, very easy when you make the uneasy step be shunned away or to be shy away, to throw away. When you make decision to eradicate all your older silly habits, but to look back and bring back the golden virtues back, we are the winners. Once again, I thank IDYM. Hope I put my thoughts in a very brief nutshell. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Jamie. That was really a very energetic talk, I must say, and I can see everyone their reactions. I was just noting down their reactions, yeah, and that was really very energetic. And as you were talking, yes, like we talked about so much about mental health, and we keep on worrying why this is increasing. But yes, one of the primary reasons is the changes in our lifestyle that we have brought. We don't have so much of attachments with our family, with our relatives. Everyone is busy here and there. We are not sharing our lives with each other. That is the root cause. One of the causes, I can say, that these cases are increasing. I think if we just have that talk to each other, instead about talking about each other, we have to talk to each other, and of course we can be dealing with this problem that we nowadays call as mental health. Thank you very much, Dr. Jamie. That was really a very great talk. So now let's move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Sunil Bhakre, sir.
Very
He's,
good evening.
good evening, sir.
First of all, very good evening to all the participants. I would like to first of all thank Mr. Engineer Ravi Shankar Kumar sir, Deenul ma'am, and our most respected Professor P.K. Rajput sir, and today's host, Anjum ma'am. This is a very great topic that is selected today, what I feel, and it is most needed. The reason for this, what I feel is that today most of us are going through this phase. We do not agree with this. We do not accept all these things. But if I will tell you the real situation in India at least, it is declared by the Supreme Court that every district should have one hospital where they can treat us. The mental treatments can be done because the 20% population in our country, India, is at least suffering from this particular thing. But I don't know how many of us accept this, agree with this, and admire this all. And most of the schools or educational institutes are still not ready with this kind of concept. Now, I would not like to give the definition of the mental illness or mental problems or what how it is described, but I would like to directly focus on the practical things that all happens in the day-to-day life. Now, let's look at the reason why all this is happening. The main reason is high expectations, high ends beyond our reach. First thing. Second important thing, what I feel is that parents are putting a kind of burden on the students. Even the schools and the educational institutes also are putting kind of burden on the students, where the anxiety, depression, pressure, peer pressure is there. Then educational, social pressure is there. These are the main factors, and nobody looks at the reasons or the factors which are affecting, but they are looking for the kind of treatments. So what all we can do, everyone has to take a squirrel share here for solving this problem, because not only they are facing, even if you test 20 people here or 10 people here, you will find at least 6 to 8 people are suffering from this problem. And what is the main thing how we can detect, or we can analyze, or how we can diagnose this? Just look at how much patience we have. If somebody is talking, or somebody is discussing, or somebody is giving a little longer talk, see our expressions. When our expression changes, we do not have much of patience, we don't have much of tolerance. That is all is the kind of symptom and a kind of sign that we are suffering from this kind of problem. So everybody is going through this problem, and that the main detection can be done by us, that is through the patience and tolerance of every person. Everybody is becoming very very irritating, means get irritated very fast. What is the reason for this? Is everybody wants everything very fast, instant. That is one of the main factor which is responsible for disturbing the pendulum of this mental balance. This mental balance pendulum always moves towards both the sides. Sometimes it is stable, sometimes it is unstable, and this goes on 24 hours together. So we will find that in the day-to-day life, the most of the problem what arise is due to very high aims, desires, not completing or not fulfilling the desires. This is one of the main factor. And though we are also talking, we also have behind, means we are masking today. What I feel, what I see, or you all can see, that we are masking happiness. We are not really happy. We are masking, we are just keeping a kind of mask on our face then to show the world that we are happy, but internally or eternally how much we are happy, how much we are satisfied, and how much we are balanced in the mental state. You will find that none of us, I'll surely tell you, none of us is having, though we are talking about so many things, but if you see, this was a kind of conditions maybe 100 years, 200 or 500 years back. People had a very limited wants. People used to stay in the vicinity of nature. People were having very much connect to the community, to the people. There was a caring and sharing. Today's world is most influenced by the media, by politics, by different types of international and national kind of issues. When we cannot keep the peace within us, how we can expect the peace within the nation and in the global peace? It is not possible, because we ourselves individually, we are not at the stage of peace, and we are talking about the peace about of different nations, or peace among the different types of countries and in the world or in the globe. So all these things is a kind of thing which is beyond our limitation or achievement or reach. And the basic thing we should focus, rather than focusing on a global or a very wider scale, that how much really we are, how much people around us in a vicinity they are. So in day to day's life, most of the problems that are arising are due to lack of patience, lack of tolerance, high desires, high aims, and then it results, all these things result in main important thing, that is there is an increase in the anxiety disorder, there is the dissociative disorder, mood disorders are there, some kind of trauma or stressor related disorders are there. Then comes the sleep disorders and neurocognitive disorders, and the different desires and wants which are not fulfilled are one of the main important, and which is displayed, which is shown, indicated by a very important factor, and that factor is impatience and the tolerance. And then that leads to the inwa, that is called a non-violence or kind of thing. So what are the important things? What is required here is that even in children today you'll find the problem of ADH, that is hyperactive children are there. Most of the parents today comes to us as an educator, when we see they are coming with the complaints that this child is very very hyperactive and can't concentrate, cannot study well, cannot focus on his studies, or cannot focus on his all the required things. So the child has the potential, the child has a tremendous type of capacity, creativity, but cannot be focused. The main reason is the mental stability, which is not there. And I urge to all the educational institutes to first focus on the stability of the mental status, that is through, maybe through yoga, maybe through yoga, the meditation, or maybe through kind of communication, counseling, and consoling the child. Or every person needs to share the sufferings and feelings, but there is nobody who can listen. And it is very rightly said that only by listening 50% of the problem of that person can be solved. But here nobody has time to look at the problems of others, and nobody is interested moreover to the problems of others. So here, what are the main things, or how we can improve the well-being? The very simple things is by means of the relaxing or reducing the stress, by finding the ways to learn to be very creative. Nowadays not like the earlier days. Children are not having hobbies. Earlier, children used to have hobbies. They were busy in their hobbies. They used to get a kind of happiness, and their mental state was stable because of the hobbies. And nowadays, there is very less hobbies among the children. That is what I find as an educator. My researches are telling me. Then they are not spending the time with the nature. They are spending the time with the gadgets and electrical devices and different type of things. So they are not connected to the nature. They are connected to the gadgets. They are not connected to each other. There is no peer caring and sharing among them. Similarly, then they should look after their physical health. That is, exercises should be there. They are not doing the exercises because then different types of hormone which should be secreted. Nobody looks at this particular point that certain types of hormone which should be secreted in the body are not secreted because of the physical exercises, lack of physical exercises, and the children are having. They are becoming more stressed. They are becoming overweight only because of lack of the exercises and not getting enough sleep. That is also a prominent reason for this all. So I would like to conclude with this, that these are a few points what I've shared, what I feel practically in the educational institute as an educator for past 28 years. I have come across thousands of students. Today, different types of cases arise. Yeah, within this more than 2.5 decades being in this educational fields, I have studied so many things, and I have done a research on all these things. So thank you, IDYM, Professor Dr. Ravi Shankar sir, our today's moderator, Anju ma'am, and all the eminent speaker for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. That was really a great talk again. And yes, yeah, I think even the speakers that were spoken before you, even they were, pointing at the same thing. The changes in our lifestyle, our wants, wishes, desires, expectations, they are all increasing. And because of this, there's a lot of stress on us, and we also put a lot of stress on our students, on our children. And this is the thing that is actually happening. And yes, this is the main reason where somewhere even I feel. And as you were talking, listening makes it solves most of the problems, because when we go for counseling, like those who are counselors, they must be knowing that counseling, it starts with listening. It is not that you just start giving your suggestions. When also a person who is a counselor, any kind of counselor, he has to actually listen to others, listen to the person sitting in front of him, and after that he or she will be suggesting. Others people feel that counseling means you just go and give your suggestions. It's not that. And yes, of course, listening to others, that is a very great skill. And if we listen to others, yes, it solves most of the problems, solves most of the problems. That was really a very great point coming from you. Thank you, Sunil sir. Thank you very much. And now I think it's time to move to our next speaker, Melissa ma'am from Italy.
Okay, good evening, good afternoon, good
Good
morning,
evening.
everybody. I'm very happy to be here to be a speaker for you. Let's speak about why is mental health important. And let's begin. Mental health is an integral part of a health and well-being, determining how we think, feel, and act psychologically, emotionally, and socially. It is an often overlooked aspect, but it can actually have a profound impact on all areas of our lives. Mental health affects the way we manage stress, realize our abilities, relate to others, and we make choices, and as well as being essential for personal development. Considering the role mental health plays, it is important to protect and improve psychological well-being by using appropriate measures. Also, as different circumstances can impact your mental health, well, highlight risk factors and signs that may indicate distress, not to mention all the benefits of having it at its best. Remember, mental health underpins our individual and collective abilities to make decisions, build relationships, and shape the world we live in. Risk factors for poor mental health. Mental health is described as a state of well-being in which a person is able to cope with the normal stresses of life. This status allows you to work productively and allows you to contribute significantly to your community. However, there are several circumstances that can affect your ability to handle certain changes or contingencies. For example, you might be dealing with a difficult situation, such as trying to manage a chronic illness, caring for a sick relative, or dealing with financial problems. The situation could wear down and overwhelm one's ability to cope, resulting in worse mental health. And the factors listed below can affect mental well-being and could increase the risk of developing psychological disorders. First of all, environment. A strong contribution to mental well-being is provided by the habitual environment to which a person is exposed. Adverse environmental circumstances can cause negative effects on psychological well-being. For example, weather conditions can influence an increase in suicide cases. Likewise, first-hand experience of natural disasters can increase the chances of developing. In some cases, air pollution can have an adverse effect on depression symptoms. Conversely, living in a positive social environment can provide protection against mental problems. Secondly, biology. One's biological structure, genes, neurotransmitters, etc., can influence the state of mental well-being. For example, a number of mental health disorders have been found to occur among members of the same family. These include conditions such as autism, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, bipolar disorder, depression, and schizophrenia. Lifestyle, behaviors and habits can impact mental health. Smoking, unregulated diet, alcohol consumption, substance use, and risky sexual behavior can cause psychological damage and predispose to disorders such as depression. And then childhood trauma or abuse. When a child experiences physical assault, sexual assault, emotional abuse, or neglect while growing up, it can lead to severe mental and emotional distress. Abuse increases the risk of developing mental disorders such as depression, anxiety, or personality disorders. And what are the signs to watch out for? Mental health problems. What are the signs? When mental health is compromised, it is not always apparent to the individual or those around them. However, there are some warning signs to look out for, which can mean negative changes to your well-being. These include change in eating habits, both excess and deficiency, noticeable reduction in energy levels, be more solitary and shy away from others, having a persistent feeling of hopelessness, consuming alcohol, tobacco, or other substances more than usual, experiencing unexplained confusion, anger, guilt, or worry, manifesting severe mood swings, getting into conflict with family and friends, thinking about harming yourself or causing harm to others, not being able to carry out daily activities with ease. Such shock. Benefits of good mental health. What are? When psychological well-being is affected, it can cause negative behaviors that can not only affect personal health, but also compromise relationships with others. And let's speak about the main benefits of good mental health. An increased ability to cope with the life stressors. When mental and emotional states are at their highest, life's changes can be easier to overcome. Where alcohol or drugs, isolation, tantrums, or fights may have been adopted to manage relationship disputes, financial problems, work challenges, and other life issues, a stable state of mind can encourage healthier coping mechanisms. A positive self-image. Mental health is strongly related to personal feelings about oneself. Overall, mental well-being plays a role in self-esteem, and often a sense of confidence can be a good indicator of a healthy mental state. A person whose mental health is booming is likely to focus on these qualities and will generally manifest ambitions to maintain a healthy and happy life. And if your mental health is good, you may be better able to provide friends and family with the quality time, love, and support. When you are not in emotional stress, it can be easier to introduce yourself and support the people you care about. And you can be better productivity. Coping with depression or other mental health disorders can impact your productivity levels. When you feel mentally strong, you are more likely to feel able to work more efficiently and deliver higher quality work and higher quality of life. When mental well-being thrives, your quality of life can improve. This can give way, for example, to new hobbies, to the desire to make new acquaintances, or to travel to new places. What to do? How to maintain mental health and well-being? With the mental health is so important to our well-being, it's important to take care of it. To maintain mental health, some introductions and changes to lifestyle practices may be necessary, such as shuttle shock, engage in regular exercise, prioritize rest and sleep on a daily basis, try meditation, learn coping skills for life's challenges, keep in touch with the loved ones, and maintain a positive outlook on life. Another proven way to improve and maintain mental well-being is throughout the guidance of a professional. Psychotherapy can teach, for example, healthier ways to interact with others and coping mechanisms to try in difficult times. Therapy can also help you deal with some of your own negative behaviors and provide you with the tools to make some positive changes in your life. My speech is ended. I thank you all for listening to me and for inviting me to this important session organized. Thank you again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It was really an amazing talk. And the way you were presenting the points, yes, of course, we need to think about it. We need to discuss more. And the tips that you're giving, I just listening to it very keenly. Yes, of course. That was really a very great talk again. And now let's move on to our next speaker, Sarita Gomes, ma'am. Sarita, ma'am, from India. Sarita, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. Yeah, hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am. Please go ahead.
So, we being an educator, everyone has their own ideas to share about. So, probably we being an educator, we need to create a safe, inclusive environment, foster a classroom environment that is safe, expecting, and even free from, bullying or discrimination. When we talk about the mental health of the child, so normally there are many small things which we need to be careful and teachers to take care about the same. Encouraging in open dialogues about mental health can create an atmosphere where students feel comfortable, discuss about their struggles, and where we educators can be a part of it and can make them feel comfortable and get a solution for them. So there are many ways to say about mental health, but what actually we do in our daily life. So this is one thing what we do. Now, when we say that promote mental health awareness, so as we educate our children, we need to be educated ourselves also to know the symptoms and the conditions which has to be incorporated for the mental health. So there are children in the class, they have their classmates, they have many other people who give them, any liners. Some kids are affected, some are not affected. So it can be a warning or signs also with few kids, I suppose, Because in my school, as I have a minority school, and the children are from the, a very poor background. So these all things really affect in this areas because the parents are not at home, they are alone at home. So they probably need a lot of caring atmosphere. So basically, we have in our school, we get down to the level of the child. We visit, my teachers visit the parents at home. If we find, something is a problem with a child, or the child is not disclosing the things and not talking to us, so we go and meet the parent. We counsel the parents as well. We have a session one to one with them. We speak about the child and guide them for these things. And supporting the kids and the parents. So if what I believe is, it is not only the role of a student for this mental health, it even affects because of the atmosphere where they are growing. This is the first thing what I basically feel. What they listen, what they are, where they are, and what they talk. So everything becomes a part of it. So we having a counselors in a school, which is very, very important these days. First counselors were there, yes, and we used to say, "Kya counselor kya karega?" But now the generation, the children are so much fast. The counselors really play an important role to divert and to motivate the children and get them, getting the counseling and speaking to them, getting onto the things and get connected to them so well that they really appropriate help them with the parents and their needs as well. When we talk about encouraging help seeking behavior, we probably teach student about the importance. What is a help and resource about? We even see we try to strengthen them. We not only look at the weakness, but we actually provide information about local mental health resource such as helpline, counseling, I said, and then even the therapy services where we have hired the counselors for that in our school. So weekly, it's twice in 1 week. And if there is some major problem or something else, so these therapists even take a session in the class during the periods as well, which helps us, my children, a lot. Maintaining and developing trust building relationship within the children along with the teacher so that they can open up the concern what the child is having, which has to be approachable, what we believe in. And we really understand and assure that confidently bring the children, the child or the children, many are there, to give them appropriate help and support. So this basically leads them to, outgoing sources, conditions to reach out to the other friends and parents. And even we intervene with these parents and guardians as well. Our school even do the collaboration between the school and the home. As I said, that we visit the houses. So we create a networking within a triangle of school, parent, and students. We even foster the sense of belongings with them. So every opportunity has been given to the child. So we can say so probably we have a clubs in the school. So we have the subjects, right? Science club, maths club, drawing club, art club. So we have made a session of, you know, a free speaking club in the school where the child can come up and talk to us about whatever they want to. Self care, providing resources is only not talking and counseling. It comes to the exercise. We talk about a lot of, meditation, breathing exercise, where every morning we have in our school for the kids, for all the classes. In fact, we even see the technique of, thinking what the child need to probably go in the right direction. If we find somewhere, if the child is negative and he is catching a wrong way or he has wrong sense of humor for anything. So I probably would like to add on this. I had 5 children in my school. These were all street boys. You can say that they used to go home, throw the bags, and just be outside the hours, 7 to 8 hours till the parents don't come to school. And one child happened to write to one girl in the class, मैं तुझे 2 रुपए देता हूँ, तू मेरे साथ सोएगी क्या? Okay. So this is I'm sharing because see the mindset of a child being coming up from the slum areas. So what probably they see. His name is Ashok, and this boy, I got to understand, and I myself, rather than sending him to any other counselor, my counselor or the teacher, without disclosing, I sat with him. I sat with every 3 days in a week with him, spoke to the parent. He was in third standard. What happened about this? He cleared this year 10th standard, and he was my council member in grade 9, 10th. That was the improvement in the child. So if we educators be a part of, and we really make a note that, yes, you are really my child and I want to, bring you up out of all these things, we educators can really make wonders. So this is what I understand and I can speak about. So thank you so much. So I would like to conclude with this. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sarita ma'am. That is really very great. And as you're working as an educator, such a great work you have been doing. You were talking, you're sharing about how your school has been working, the counselors, your teachers. You're really doing a great work. And yes, we need more educators like you. And that is really commendable that you were talking about your student, how you helped him. And now in 9th and 10th, he was a council member and all. That is really great. Thank you very much.
I feel
Thank
so
you very much.
proud about it.
Yes, of course. Because as an educator, even I can understand that when our students, through any small help, they just become successful in life. They do something good. We feel that as it is our success, we really feel proud about it. Right? That's really great. Thank you,
Thank you
Sarita.
so much.
Thank you. So now it's time to invite one more principal and a great educator, Nahid Raza. So over to you, Nahid sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible? Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah.
Right. Great talk is on. Today's topic is very relevant for us, for educators. Mental health action plan. Right? Mental health is good word and action plan is even better word. Reason being, we generally do not act. We know, but we do not apply. Aristotle has said no. If you know, apply. If you understand, teach. Right? So hello, ma'am. Am I audible? Right. So here, I would like to stress that, Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, he talked that if we can control, we should do. So in the same manner, if we have control over things, we should focus on them. The ones which we cannot control, we should avoid them. Right. So first of all, we should try to discover ourselves as strength. If we are good at it, we should try to be better in that. Mental health will be better. We should try to be ourselves. If you try to be someone else, you are no one. In this manner, so if we enrich ourselves with the information present today, and if we value ourselves, it is very essential today. We should value ourselves, and we should value our presence, and we should value our uniqueness, because every individual is different. Right? The more value we accord to ourselves, the better we become. So mental health is better. Right? Second, we should try to empower other people. If we are empowering other people, they will also be empowering us. So the reciprocity is outstanding. We should try to do that. Right. Next, we generally try to control. We need not to control others. We should give them autonomy. If they, right, we should not interfere in others' life. We should not poke our nose. In the same manner, people will not do. So the better we adopt, the better it is. Right. And we, for our children, we should never tell them to study. Right. If they study, we should some them water, we should come some pear, we should give them mango, so that they should eat and they should become better. And there is mutual understanding between two. Right? We need to create routines. If we have routines, we can do marvelous things. By the age of 21, every child is required to have routine, and it is to be looked after by parents. So we should give autonomy, right? We should give autonomy. We need to be open in our communication, in our conversations. If we are open, we can listen, and other people can also listen to us, right? And we should be honest in our talk. We should have integrity, right? And we should care ourselves, and we should care our teams. For example, class is to be observed. What I did 2 days ago, observation sheet I gave to the teacher who is teaching, right? So that they can appoint their own observer. Idea is to make them better. There is no mental trauma. We need to, what is happening, what is our objective today, right? To make a school from good to great. This is the journey. It requires time, and teachers should be on board. It is not like that driver is driving or all sitting. No, all are active members, and they should apply their own brains, because the more people are involved, the more people are engaged, school could become great in within time frame. Right? We should have care plan, that I should need to care. We should have affirmation to ourselves. Yes, I'm a good person. I'm good, doing good to society. I'm doing justice to my profession. Right? Making my students better. And we should have a hope box, that yes, I have hope. I would become better. I would become healthier. Every day is good day. If we are going with this, we will again be very healthy brain and mind. Right? Stay hydrated. Generally, what happens when we are busy? Beware of busyness. Socrates said. So we need not to be over busy. Why are we busy? We need not to be busy. We should have proper planning, because if planning is there, we can save our 90% energy. Right? So we should have planning, and we need not to be very busy. When we are not busy, we can take care of ourselves, we can take care of our family, we can take care of our school. Right? Yes. Stay current, what is going on in the world, what is going on in our country, what is going in our local area, how children can understand things better. Right? So well-being is also related to what is going on in current affairs. Right? How can we make children better? Practice self-compassion. Yes, I'm good person. Right? I also need to be cared. Right? In the same manner, we should be compassionate towards others. Right? Right? And we should avoid tobacco. Right? Alcohol we should avoid. Right? So that life become better. People appreciate if we are appreciated in society. Right? So we feel better. When we feel better, we are happy. Right? We have fun with life. Right? And in the same manner, we should try to strike friendship with the ones who are nurturing people, who are uplifting us, who are talking very positive. Right? If we are surrounded by such people, we will also be positive, and we should also appreciate. They will also appreciate. Yes. But purpose of life, purpose of day, and purpose of our profession should not be underestimated. How? So, right? We are appreciating children, and we are not reaching anywhere. So the purpose, the priority must be accomplished daily, and we need to work, because if child is coming for developing reading skills. First, we should try to develop reading skills. If child is numeracy skills still not child is not doing well in numeracy, right? So we should develop that, because we are there to solve their problem. So problem should be sorted out. It's not like that we are creating very good atmosphere, right? So we should be purpose driven, right? What is generally we talk about passion. Passion is a tool. We should use that passion to accomplish our purpose sorry, and objective of the days, months, years, and life. Yes, and we should have proper planning, that where would like to reach, right? Planning is a map, compass is destination. So we need to see where is the needle going, and we should go in that direction. First, I should know what needs to be done. Then my teachers must know. Then students must know. When expectations are shared, students do better because they know what is expected. High expectations are not bad. High expectations very good, because yesterday whatever was fiction, today it is reality. We are in this era of information and artificial intelligence. So had we not thought of it, we could not have done it. So, right, high expectations are not bad, but yes, we need to train our mind that yes, we should put our expectations in small pieces, and we should try to accomplish those expectations. Yes, if we are creating a constitution of expectations, we could do better, and we should plan and strategize and what could be done. And we should try to have some mentors so that they can guide us, right? We are mentoring, we should try to listen them. If we are putting people into the board, right, they will definitely be helping people wish to help. Ideas, how can we get their help? Yes, when we are progressing, we need to extend gratitude. When we are extending gratitude, expressing gratitude, what happens? Through this expression, we are lighter as well as brighter, because we are people are helping, and we are extending and giving them gratitude. Daily affirmation. Muhammad Ali, the brightest boxer, he was telling, "I'm the greatest." Why was it greater? Because he was time and again, he was practicing more. So we need to give proper affirmation. Yes, I'm a good person, as I stated earlier, right? Treat yourself with proper care, right? Proper care. When you respect yourself, you should dress well. If you're dressing well, people will respect you. You talk to people politely. If you're talking to people politely, they will make you politely. So this communication and transportation of good vocabulary, good deeds, and right, and we will get ourselves emotionally stable, right? So we need to have consistency, and consistency could be created when we have routine, we have discipline, right? And expectations must be very high. Yes, give yourself grace, give others people grace, right? Right, sometimes we need to forgive ourselves, forgive others, right? The best art is to live together. We should try to live together. We need to respect humanity, we need to respect civilization, right? And we should have good communication with people. We should listen to them. $1 billion coach is about listening, about being manager, right? As I stated in my last talk also, we cannot be directly leaders. First, we should listen to people. We should try to live up to their expectations, right? When we are established, we could easily be leader, right? So these are my points I have submitted. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
So thank you, sir. And as you started, yes, we have to be ourselves. Most of the times we just spend time being like others. And when we think of improving, we should be think of improving ourselves, and we should stop comparing ourselves with others. And of course, that and many things that you have talked about. Yes, if we just think, at least even think about it, and of course, and gradually we can do all those things that you were telling, and yes, we can help people to deal with this problem of mental health. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your valuable insights. And now I would like to call upon next speaker, Vanessa ma'am from Singapore. Vanessa, ma'am.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, ma'am.
A very good evening. So I'll keep the talk a bit short because it's quite late day in Singapore. It's already midnight. And first, I want to thank IDY for inviting me to hear my views on this topic about mental health. It is something that is pretty close to me because I suffered from depression and anxiety. And my worst time suffering from this mental health issue was during the COVID period, where I was kind of kept in the house for some time. I couldn't go out, so I faced a trauma, I faced depression, I faced anxiety. But let's look at the mental health of society. There are many cases of people suffering from depression and anxiety around the world, more so now in the 21st century. But if you go back, maybe towards the 20th century, when people were actually much happier and there were not many technology gadgets to be hooked on, to be obsessed on. I think the level of happiness was higher because there were more community bonding. In the olden times, neighbors could go to another neighbor's house to watch TV. They could go out of their village to play with one another. And that created community bonding, it created happiness. I'm not saying that at that time there was no mental disorders, but it was less. People were more present in society. That they were more present in themselves. They were more into nature. And like I said, there was much more community bonding. If you move forward, due to technology advancement, due to the rat race in society to be better than to be the best you can be, better than somebody else. It all creates a lot of stress with us. And when you create stress, your body breaks down. Your mental muscle gets very tired. And that can lead to depression. It can lead to anxiety. Children nowadays, they are faced with education pressure because parents can come back home and tell their children, or hey, you see, so and so is doing better than you. You're putting shame on our family. Why can't you be better than them? And that gives the children mental stress. And very unfortunately, I know a few cases where the youth cannot adapt to the education pressure, which leads them to depression. And due to face value, they're not able to explain it to their parents. They end up in a situation where they feel very lost. And sometimes if it's not taken care of, they may communicate. Sorry, they may just kill themselves. They will commit suicide, and I've known of a few cases where the youths have actually jumped down and killed themselves, and the parents did not know about it. Only the following day, a parent found a note on the table that said that the child was suffering from depression and the child was going to take his life. But very fortunately, the child took his life, and it was a very sad story to know about it. So, as we know that such things are actually happening in society, we need to build a structure where we can help children who are suffering from depression, and schools have to develop a system whereby they have counselors to watch out for the signs of depression. Counselors cannot be judgmental. They must listen to their patients. They must listen carefully and assess the situation. And society must be taught at this very moment to speak out about mental health. A lot of us, especially in Asian society, are shy to talk about it because of face value. It's not a ASEAN practice to talk about mental health. Actually, it's a stigma. If you are suffering from some kind of mental health, the first thing they'll think the problem is with you. You are the one that's causing you're the one causing your own mental health, and you are bringing shame to the family. All this mindset needs to be changed. And I can say that it's changing along the way, because there have been campaigns to encourage people to talk about their mental health. And it has started in schools, has started in the neighborhoods, community centers in Singapore, which we call them. They hold talks about mental health. Schools are now having counselors, and even workplace. Employers are now actually hiring counselors to help their own employees to get over depression, as work stress can make one person feel very depressed. It also can bring in anxiety, especially in an environment where everybody wants to make a lot of money, where there's great competition. There was one psychologist who told me that her greatest number of patients that she sees are mostly from the financial sector. Why? Because they are just thinking how to make money, how to be better than others, until it's giving them a state of stress that they cannot even help to solve their own stress problem. And stress at work is something that a lot of employers need to recognize. They must develop a work balance life. Sometimes they say that it's better to keep on working, to keep on earning the money. If you don't earn enough money, that means you're not working enough. That is actually a very out of fashion thinking, but there are still societies who develop that kind of thinking where, time is money. You must keep working, and they don't have time with their family. So that creates a lot of mental stress. And one factor that can bring down your stress is actually going out and admiring trees, having time for the family. And governments in various countries need to recognize that they must create fun times for the family, create activities where family can go out together, they can enjoy family life, bond with the community again, like what we used to do many years back, many centuries back ago, when people were living in villages. We need to create a mental health of happiness. We must tell ourselves that we need our family. Money is not everything in life. Because my father used to say that you can have so much money with you, but if your health is not good at all, no amount of money can actually cure your mental health. And like I said, we need to recognize what kind of mental health disorders that we go through, that we are having. We need to recognize the symptoms. For me, for example, I suffer from depression and anxiety, but I seek help. I focus on the symptoms of my own mental health disorder. And through experience, I learned how to overcome it. And that is something that everybody needs to know about mental health, to know the symptoms. You know that anybody can have a mental health problem. You may be a very healthy person, but one day, all of a sudden, you can feel anxiety coming upon yourself. Now, there are many various factors about how anxiety can come upon you. One is stress. One is the food that we eat. If we eat food with a lot of high fiber, if we eat food with contain high proteins and we don't do much exercise, we can develop high blood pressure, and high blood pressure can bring about anxiety. Drinking too much coffee also can bring about anxiety. So mental health can come in many, many ways. You didn't have to be sick. You didn't have to suffer a certain kind of sickness just to suffer from mental health. Just by the food that we eat and our lifestyle, our drinking. If we drink too much alcohol also, it can bring about depression. Alcohol can affect our brain. There are many cases where people say they have hangover. The next morning, they feel very depressed because of the alcohol effect of the night that they drank. So we need to watch our lifestyles. Governments need to implement a structure where they can help their citizens overcome mental health problems, give them financial support if they cannot find any, in order to seek a psychiatrist to look after their mental health. Campaigns need to be developed to tell society that hey, it is okay to suffer from depression. It's okay to suffer from anxiety. It is normal. I mean, it is not really that normal, but it is okay to suffer and to speak it out. Because we need to be aware. Awareness is a very important part of our lives if you want to conquer our mental health problems. This all needs to be developed. We must not think that we will cause face value problems to our families if we suffer from mental health. Youths can actually look after their own mental health. One is to get connected with nature. I keep on saying, get connected with nature again. Stay away from your mobile gadgets, at least for one day or for a few hours. I know that we are not so hooked on our gadgets, that we are so obsessed with it. And you know that looking at our phones too long is going to cause mental, it will affect our brains. We may not feel it now, but this effect takes some accumulation, especially the colors that we look at our phone, the colors that's been radiated, that is radiating out of our phone, the radiation that is radiating out of our phone, it's going to affect our mental health. But slowly, youth now will say, hey, I'm not affected at all. But it's a long-term effect. So they need to recognize this, and of course, phone companies are not going to advertise that, hey, spending too much on your phone is going to drive you mad, because they're going to, of course, lose business. Because very unfortunately, the sales of handphones, iPads, brings money to the economy, but it's going to affect your mental health in the long run if you be too obsessed with it. I just hope phone companies are not going to sue me over this. So get in touch with yourself again. Do meditation. I did a lot of meditation to calm my mind. I did a lot of reading. I went for mindfulness practices to calm my mind. I did even yoga. And one thing about yoga, I would encourage everybody to do it. It is something that balances your mind, it balances your breathing. It really helps the body to regenerate again, helps the body to fight itself again. Because actually, do you know that we have our own ability to heal ourselves? God has given us that power to heal our own body. But very unfortunately, we never use that power at all. We abuse it. There are many things that can abuse our body, but there are also many things that we can use to regenerate our health, to make us healthy again. So with that in mind, stay healthy, stay away from your phone, always recognize your problem with your mental health, recognize the symptoms that is going to bring about your mental health disorder, seek help, seek professional help. And if you're in a community that is helping people with mental health problems, listen to their problems. Do not create any of your own opinions. Listen to them, guide them. Sometimes people just want you to listen to their problems. Be with them. And if you are in a working place and you feel that your office needs a structure whereby it needs to help workers to overcome their mental health, go forth and suggest to a company that they should hire counselors, create a system where officers can seek help from professional counselors to solve their own mental health problems. Because like I said, you can feel normal next day, but you can create depression within a few hours, just because you develop your own stress at work, just because you never have a good work-life balance, just because you're not eating healthily, just because you are drinking too excessively, too heavily. So we need to really look after ourselves. And keep on campaigning that we need to be aware of our mental health. If you're in a political sector and you feel that governments must create laws that will help in work-life balances, that will help your mental, that will help the citizens to have a better, healthy well-being. Go ahead and ask your government to help out. So overall, we need to play our part. We need to come back to nature. Again, I always say come back to nature. We ourselves are the ones that actually can cure our mental health problem. But of course, I would say that if you cannot do it, go and see a psychiatrist. So with that, I wish you all the best. I hope that some of my points have helped you all to see how we can cure our own mental health and how we can create awareness in society in helping people in overcoming the mental health problems. Thank you. Okay, love you all. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your personal your experiences with us. And of course, like we need to listen to each other and change our lifestyles. And as you were talking about yoga and meditation, yes, it helps a lot in all such situations. So now with this we come to our last speaker of the session. Yes, Lala Jacob ma'am is there. Over to you, ma'am.
A very pleasant evening to one and all present over here. Yes, it is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. We could not heal the world all of a sudden, but we can begin with a voice of compassion, a heart of love, an act of kindness. The words are already been given by Harry Davis. A kind gesture can already reach a wound that only compassion can already heal. So let us begin with the transformation of expectation on the road or on the wheel of acceptance. Yes, today we are going to discuss mental health action plan promoting care and treatment. We can't heal the world all of a sudden, as I have already told. The Constitution of the World Health Organization defines that health is a state of complete physical, mental, social well-being, and not it is merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Mental health can be affected by socio-economic factors such as social protection, living standards, working conditions, and community support. Yes, who needs our support? People in poverty, in chronic health, children exposed to maltreatment and neglect, and older people. Discrimination due to gender inequality, people exposed to conflict, then domestic violence, abuse, overwork, and more than that, the stress. I give emphasis on the word stress. Stigmatization and discrimination leads to the denial of civil and political rights, economic and cultural rights. 76% to 85% of the people with mental health and disorder receive no treatment for their disorder in low-income countries. Whereas the data says that near about $2 in a year is already been spent for taking care of the mental health. Whereas in the low-income group countries, it is only and only $0.25. where we are now. We boast about the digitalization. We boast about the economic growth. We boast about the economic development. Where are we now? We are losing the values. Without giving the important values, the core values to the children, us being the educators, we cannot expect, we cannot create, we cannot make, or we cannot argue that, yes, we are the architect of the coming generation. Specialists in general health care, carers are already required. Mental health legislation and policies are also required because these policies are becoming scarcer and scarcer, except in high-income countries. Availability of basic medicine in primary health can also help, and so that the people, those who are living in the villages and the rural areas, will be able to get those medical aids. The vision of the action plan is a world in which mental health is valued, promoted, protected. Mental disorders are already prevailed, and the persons, those who are affected by the disorders, are able to exercise the full range of human rights and to access high quality, culturally appropriate health and social care in a timely way of providing recovery to extent possible. Then when we think about stigmatization and discrimination, I don't mean that the discrimination exists in the whole world. Even discrimination exists in our own families, our own schools, our own working conditions. Wherever we work, discrimination is already there. So it's a duty of the educators to raise the voice against it. The goal is to reduce the mortality, morbidity, and disability for persons with mental disorder. So let us work with the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders' collaboration is already required to motivate and engage all of them, those who are already struggling with mental health problems. The persons with the mental disorders, the carers and the family members in the development and implementation of the policies by the government, laws and services relating to mental health, all should be combined together, and let us make in beautiful world whatever resources are already available in our country. So I would like to conclude by saying that 80% countries will prepare mental health report through better national health and social information systems by the year 2030. Yes, 7 more years we have to wait for it. The output of global research on mental health will be doubling by 2030. So, in the words for the following question, I would like to conclude: compassion is the light that opens the petals of a heart. So, wherever voice of compassion reaches, nothing else can reach. And that is what is required in our families, in our societies, in our country, in our world. So let us hope that we will be able to march on the road of expectation with the wheels of acceptance. Thanks a lot to IDYM Foundation as well as the moderator, Anju ma'am. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for showing your patience, for staying with me at this late hour of this particular night. And I wish everybody good night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That was really, again, a very inspiring speech by you. And yes, as you were talking about compassion, yes, we need to develop this, and that was really great. And I can see Melissa ma'am, who is still there till the end of the session. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the organizer, and the founder of IDYM, Engineer Ravi Shankar sir, and our mentor, Dr. P.K. Rajput sir, and all the lovely speakers. It was really a very great session, and it was a really great discussion, because the points put upon by all the speakers, they're really wonderful. And yes, what I observed today is, yes, we need to speak about it. We need to help each other, and we need to listen to each other and discuss about this problem, to overcome this problem, because yes, every problem in the world, it has a solution. So it is not just the time to discuss about it, but we need to develop solutions about it, and this solution can be certainly be done with collaboration. So thank you each and every one of you, and all the speakers were still there with me: Sarita ma'am, Melissa ma'am, Laila ma'am, Revati ma'am. Thank you everyone for being with us. Thank you everyone, and good night.